Hello, Internet. This is Lucky Jackal with a Saberforge ASP lightsaber review. Now, this is my first time I've ever built one, and I had trouble myself, so I don't know much about techno bibble babble. But it is a very, 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 very fun thing to do. For newbies or people who know all their techno stuff. Now, if you're a first timer, I highly recommend that you go with the quick disconnect or quick connect. I forget what they call it. But what it has is these little red boxes, and they have prongs in them. Everything's all ready to go. All you do is click them together. Once everything is already inside the lightsaber, like the battery pack and soundboard and everything for the sound, or if you don't want sound, the buttons, wires, and the LED. Once all that is in there, and you feel it's completely and totally how you like it, then all you really need to do is just everything together. Except for that, don't drop it. But it's really good service because you can completely make any lightsaber, like completely unique lightsaber. Like I have the Vigilant emitter and the pommel. I have Obi-Wan's lightsaber body from Attack of the Clones, and the Saberforge Epoch button section, which I chose because I like to dual hand like a knight and a samurai, as well as just single hand the whole lightsaber. The whole thing about it is that I recommend you build it based off your style of combat, how you think you want your lightsaber to look, and how you know you want it to look, how you think it would feel in your hand, and as you saw, make sure it doesn't have like a little lip going on, because that's what I have right here, because the Epoch and the Vigilant emitter and button section apparently don't entirely agree, like the Obi-Wan body and the Epoch emitter. Epoch button section. But it is really good for anyone who wants to have a lightsaber that they're completely and totally happy spending like $300+ on, or $100+ if you want to do just an empty hilt just for decoration. Now, if you do know what you're doing and you know how to wire this piece to that, how to connect everything, how to solder, like really fancy stuff, then go with the DIY stuff, because they have the buttons, they have they have parts that come with the wires. They don't have the wires themselves, but parts come with the wires. They have the buttons. They have the charger ports right here. I would say probably the hardest setup, though, to do is what mine has, which is what it does is it has, I'm not pulling it up because it was already a pain in the ass to get fixed the first time, but it is stunt with sound, basically, where I forget what battery they use, but where the battery, you can pop it out at this one little sweet spot under the soundboard, and you pop that out to recharge it in a charger, like AAA batteries and all that from Energizer and all them. So I would recommend that if you want to do that with the sound, that way you can do the on and off with one button, which I really like that Ultra Sabers does and Vader's Vault do. But I've had more Saberforge lightsabers than I have any of those two, so I went with Saberforge. Then go with the recharge port, because then you don't need to like keep popping it out, popping it back in, possibly messing up the wiring, disconnecting something, and just completely and totally ruining your install. Because it'll get really frustrating really, really fast if you keep doing that and having to keep reinstalling it and rewiring it all the time. And another thing on my personal experience, now that I've actually held an Obi-Wan, I think they call it the Avenger on Saberforge. Now that I've held Obi-Wan Kenobi's lightsaber body in my hand, is I have it unlike how it should be, where this part is perpendicular, lined up with the buttons. I have it backwards. Same for my emitter. That way, for photography, it doesn't show, so it looks more like a real lightsaber. And plus, with the grip on this lightsaber, the way it looks is it feels more natural and it gives you a way better grip than what you would if it's being held this way. Because you have the ribs just jabbing in your hand, it's kind of uncomfortable. So that's really all I have on ASP. Besides the fact that just really do your research before you even think about doing it, or else it's just going to be nothing but frustration if you do the DIY stuff. So that's it on my ASP review, and I hope it helped. Please subscribe, like, favorite, and share.